I had been infatuated with Sophie for 5 long years, and during that time, I had confessed my feelings to her on 13 different occasions. She turned me down every single time. The cycle finally broke when she decided to go abroad for a study program, and she chose to take her childhood friend Leo with her. At that point, I truly decided to give up. I remember standing at the airport, watching her hug her best friend, and then she turned to me and said, "You two actually make a good pair," gesturing to her friend, Clara. When Sophie eventually returned to the country, she confronted me angrily, cornering me about a contact saved as "wife" on my phone. I just smiled, reminding her, "Weren't you the one who said we're a good match?" It turns out your judgment was perfectly on point. In the 5th year of knowing Sophie, she was preparing to leave the country, but I only found out about her plans from our mutual friends. "There's no way," they said. "You two are so close. How could she not have told you?" They were all shocked. "Even I know," one of them added, "and I've only met Sophie once." Another friend tried to rationalize it. "Mark, maybe she just can't bear to leave you." None of them believed me when I said I honestly didn't know. They were all convinced that Sophie and I were just trying to avoid suspicion. But I knew the truth. She was actively avoiding me. I couldn't understand why she would do that. If my persistence truly bothered her, why did she always make a point to respond to me? My heart felt heavy and sour, as if it were soaking in vinegar. Without even making a conscious decision, I found myself standing right beneath Sophie's apartment, just staring at her closed door. Whatever excitement I might have felt just fizzled out. As I turned around to leave, a voice suddenly stopped me. "Mark, what are you doing here again?" I looked back. The door had opened, and Sophie was leaning lazily against the frame. I met her gaze, my expression a complicated mix of hurt and confusion. "You're leaving the country," I said. "Why didn't you tell me?" Sophie just chuckled, as if she found the question amusing. "Mark, on what grounds are you asking me that?" I was completely stumped. She was right. What right did I have to question her? As a friend, I finally managed to force the words out. Sophie laughed out loud at that. "Well, now you know, don't you? Mark, I know what you're like. You'd find out anything about me regardless. You don't need me to tell you." In that single moment, it felt like I was completely exposed in front of her. Her scrutinizing gaze made me feel profoundly ashamed. All those times I had convinced myself that she needed my concern now felt utterly trivial to her. "Got it," I said, managing a quick acceptance of the situation. "It won't happen again." Sophie looked briefly surprised by my response. She stood up straight, watching me quietly for a moment. "I'm leaving next Monday." I replied calmly. "Okay." She casually added, "Don't you have anything to say to me?" I could only offer a bitter smile. What was possibly left to say at this point? I had said everything I needed to say before, and Sophie had always brushed it off, pretending she didn't understand. "Now I have nothing more to say," I told her. I turned to leave, feeling a new sense of resolve take root inside me. "Take care on your trip." On the day Sophie was scheduled to leave for the airport, I hesitated for a long time before my friends finally urged me to join them. Standing in the crowd, I saw her searching for something. Next to her was Leo, her childhood friend. Among our social circle, they were always seen as a perfect match, but nothing had ever officially happened between them. When my feelings for Sophie became too obvious for anyone to ignore, people had started pairing us together instead. Yet Sophie never made her own stance clear. Now that she was leaving, it felt like our story, whatever it was, had finally ended. When I approached the group, Sophie caught sight of me. Her lips curled into a mocking smile. "I told you he'd come," she declared to everyone around her. Confused, I looked at the people gathered, completely unsure of what Sophie's intentions were. Leo put an arm around her shoulder, smirking at me. "You must be Mark, right?" he asked. "I've heard of you. Sophie says you're always around her, and she just can't shake you off. You're quite the persistent guy." The entire crowd erupted in laughter, egged on by his comment. "Exactly," one person said. "Sophie never shows any indication, and he still keeps trying." "Yeah," another chimed in. "Usually it's easy for guys to get girls, but here it's like there's a mountain in between." Someone else joked. "Sophie, don't let him wait too long. He might get over you by the time you're back." I glanced coolly at Sophie, unsure of what to expect from her. But she just confidently stated, "He won't." Like I said, even if I hadn't told Mark, he'd still show up here. She leaned closer, looking directly at me. "Right, Mark?" I took a couple of steps back, creating distance. "Not anymore," I replied. Sophie froze. It was the first time I hadn't played along with her, especially not in public. Other friends immediately tried to defuse the situation. "Sophie, he's a guy. Don't tease him so much," one advised. "Mark is slow to anger, but he's sensitive." Others chimed in to calm me down. "Mark, this might be the last time you see each other for a while. Don't let it get you down." "Yeah, keep your spirits up. You'll meet again soon." The atmosphere was gradually calming down when Leo decided to stir the pot again. He came over, threw an arm around me like we were old buddies, and said, "Come on, Mark. Sophie was just kidding. You can't take a joke?" He smirked, adding, "If you knew we had a bet, you'd definitely come. And if not, we'd owe her $1,000. You'd be mad, right? Boys should just lighten up and roll with it, you know?" Everything fell silent. I stared at Sophie, taking it all in. Sophie bit her lip, stepping forward to shield Leo from me. "We were just kidding. There's no need to take it so seriously." She continued, "Leo is straightforward. He's not a thinker like you. Don't take it to heart." Leo raised his hands, looking surprised. "Did I say something wrong?" "Sorry, Mark, that's just how I am." I clenched my teeth, afraid my voice would tremble if I tried to speak. This wasn't the first time I cursed my inability to speak up during these crucial moments. Why couldn't I ever keep it together when it mattered the most? We chatted for a bit more, until it was almost time for Sophie and Leo to go through security. Suddenly, Sophie walked over to me. Honestly, I could sense from the corner of my eye that she had been looking my way for a while, but I wasn't about to start thinking that someone who had treated me like a bet just a moment ago would suddenly be all focused on me. Sophie stopped right next to me. "Mark, I hope by the time I get back, you'll have someone you can truly rely on." She then placed her hand on the shoulder of the girl standing next to me, checking out her friend. "You two actually look pretty good together." I felt like Sophie was being ridiculous. "You don't need to worry about my business." Sophie looked directly into my eyes. "I'm just looking out for you." "I don't need it." This time I rejected her quickly and firmly. Sophie was taken aback by my response, her eyes suddenly dimming. "Then you better never need it. Don't come running to me when I get back." I responded seriously. "Don't worry, it'll be just like you want." Sophie clearly didn't expect me to be so firm today. As the boarding announcement came over the speakers, she picked up her luggage and left, still thoughtfully helping Leo with his suitcase. I noted, "See, Sophie is considerate. It's just never directed towards me." We all lingered on the side of the security line, figuring out how to get back. I stood by, waiting for their decision, when I saw Leo turn back and give me a challenging look. It only lasted a moment, like a trick of the eye, before he sidled up to Sophie and whispered something to her. They actually looked good together. Suddenly, Clara, the girl Sophie said would be a good match for me, blocked my view. I didn't have much interaction with Clara and wasn't familiar with her beyond just recognizing her face. "Let's go home," Clara said. I snapped back to reality, realizing I'd spaced out and missed the route everyone had decided on. "All right," I nodded at her. Weirdly enough, Sophie's sudden comment had made things incredibly awkward between us. On the way home, the three of us in Clara's car slowly dropped off classmates one by one until it was just the two of us left. The car felt extremely silent. Sitting in the passenger seat, I just stared out the window, afraid of making eye contact with Clara. Sensing the tension, Clara put on some soft music. "Where's your home?" she suddenly asked. I was caught off guard. "They said your place is in this direction, but they didn't specify exactly where. I'll drop you off at your door," Clara explained. I paused, thinking it over. "That's okay. There's a bar up ahead. I'll just get out there." Feeling miserable, I had already texted my buddy, Ben, to meet up. "Don't drown yourself in alcohol," Ben advised me when I arrived. "Those TV shows are full of lies. You shouldn't believe them." I downed a small glass. "Can't a guy just drink for no reason?" Ben tossed his jacket aside and sat down next to me, accepting his fate for the evening. "Your issue isn't really with drinking. Whatever, I'll drink with you." After a few rounds, I finally vented my frustrations. Why does she get to talk about me like that in front of everyone? She's been playing with me all these years. Ben, already a little tipsy, chimed in, "I think you are special to her compared to other people." Emboldened by the alcohol, I slammed my glass on the table. "What a load of crap! She's just messing with me because she knows I like her." The slam seemed to sober Ben up a bit. "Well, you could just stop liking her. There are plenty of other women out there." Agreeing with him outwardly, I just kept drinking, unaware of how long it had been or how much I'd consumed. Inevitably, when I couldn't hold myself up anymore, I felt my body collapse backward. But something caught me. Barely able to keep my eyes open, I felt weightless. Then, a gentle voice spoke. "Do you really like her that much?" "Liar, you promised me." A year later, word spread that Sophie was returning home. The once dormant class group chat suddenly buzzed with activity. Someone suggested a reunion, saying it had been a while since we all got together. Everyone agreed, and since it was also meant to welcome Sophie back, it was decided the party would be at her place. As I debated whether I should go, my phone screen was suddenly turned off by someone else. An arm embraced me from behind. "What are you thinking about so hard?" she asked. Blinking in the dim room light, I replied, "A class reunion. Should I go?" Her warm breath touched my neck. "Why wouldn't you? Or are you still hung up on her?" I was speechless, gently pushing her away. "What are you talking about? I wouldn't dare!" Suddenly, a sharp but brief pain hit my shoulder. "What are you doing?" Clara kissed the mark she had just left, teasing me. "Naughty. You deserve a punishment for that." "Are you a puppy?" I rolled my eyes at her. Clara snorted. "Woof." I couldn't help but laugh, and I suddenly sprang forward to mark her neck as payback. "Are you a puppy too?" Clara raised an eyebrow, one hand on my head and the other around my waist. I pulled back from her neck, grinning wildly. "You taught me. I learned to fight back." On the day Sophie returned, quite a few old classmates gathered to give her a warm welcome. As for me, I kept my promise and didn't go. But apparently she wasn't happy about my absence. I heard from some classmates that Sophie was in a foul mood that day, snapping at people over the smallest things. When asked what was wrong, she wouldn't say, which turned Leo into the topic of gossip instead. She hadn't changed at all, forever clueless about respecting people or picking the right time and place. Only now, Leo was the one in the spotlight. Since they had left, I hadn't heard from Sophie even once. Strangely, however, Leo had started messaging me often. During their first Chinese New Year abroad, Leo sent me a picture. The photo showed Sophie cooking in the kitchen. He texted, "Mark, Sophie's cooking for me. You haven't had the chance to try her cooking, right? Oh, I almost forgot. When you were trying to win her over back then, you'd bring her lunch boxes, but Sophie wouldn't even give them a second glance." I ignored him and set Leo's messages to Do Not Disturb. I only checked his random messages when I had a free moment during meals. Leo is actually kind of amusing. I never respond, yet he texts me every month like clockwork, as if I'm some kind of check-in point. "Mark, look, Sophie stayed up all night prepping a birthday surprise for me, and now she's asleep." "Mark, you treat Sophie so well. Why doesn't she like you back?" "Mark, I just said I was bored and Sophie dropped everything just to go shopping with me. I'm so lucky." Sometimes I would open the messages and just take them, as a little laugh. I didn't expect, though, that one time I would get busted by Clara while I was lying in her arms after dinner. Clara frowned. "Why does he text you every day?" "But I don't answer him," I dodged cleverly. "But you read them," Clara was hung up about it. "And they're all about Sophie." I could see where this was going. I extended my hand, giving her my phone. "How do you want to handle this?" "Delete them." So I did. Clara was still mad, though. Before deleting them, she even sent Leo a text message. "Leo, stop bothering Mark. I'm a bit of a neat freak." 2 weeks later, at the class reunion, I showed up as planned, but Clara got held up with something at work. As soon as I reached Sophie's place, I spotted her in the crowd. Without saying hi, I got sidetracked into chatting with some old classmates. "Oh my God, Mark, you look great. No work stress showing on you at all. It's been so long, you haven't changed a bit. Mark, is that an engagement ring? Are you seeing someone?" Someone sharp-eyed noticed my ring and exclaimed. I awkwardly rubbed my fingers over it. Nearly a year now, actually. Yep, since that night of bar hopping, it had been exactly a year. The night I got wasted, Clara took me home and booked my friends a hotel. The alcohol hit me like a delayed reaction. Once we were at Clara's place, I started acting out. I was demanding water, then asking for cake, and Clara somehow managed to calm me down. In the end, I was standing on her couch, clutching her face and sobbing away. "I'll never like her again." Clara barely held her temper. "Like who?" "Sophie." The grip on my waist tightened a bit, and I cringed from the pain. Clara closed her eyes, looking at me with a tiny hint of pleading. "Why can't you try liking me?" My head felt all fuzzy. "Who are you?" Clara suddenly got serious, cupping my head with one hand and tilting my chin up. "Mark, look at me. I'm Clara." "Clara," I murmured, then suddenly started grinning like an idiot. "They say we're a great match." Clara sighed, giving in completely. "All right, let's just go to bed." When she laid me down, out of nowhere, I had the courage to wrap my arms around her neck. "Clara." "I'm here." I raised my hand, tracing the line of her face. Suddenly, I pulled her in, kissing her lips. Clara held the back of my head, responding passionately. Everything felt so natural, but at the same time it felt wildly absurd. It was a crazy night. I blanked out on most of it. The only clear thing was that during the peak of the moment, Clara insisted I stay present. "Mark, look at me. Who am I?" Barely opening my eyes, I looked at Clara's blurry figure. "Clara." Lost in thought, I hadn't noticed that I was smiling at the memory. "Mark, what's got you so absorbed? Introduce the person, will ya?" I felt strangely bashful. Her? Ah, she's… Mark! Sophie suddenly called my name, interrupting me mid-sentence. When everyone turned to look at her, she paused awkwardly, as if even she hadn't planned to say my name out loud. Sophie plucked up her courage with some excuse. Come help with something. I walked through the kitchen, but didn't find anything that needed help. What do you need? I asked. Sophie stepped closer. Why didn't you come to the airport? I backed away. Didn't you say you didn't want me there? This is what you wanted. You should be happy then. So why are you here today? Sophie cornered me. Leaning against the kitchen counter, I pointed out, Today's not just your welcome party. It's a reunion after all, right? Mark, stop testing my patience. Why are you acting like this? But then she noticed my engagement ring, gripping my wrist tightly. And what's this new trick? Are you trying to piss me off? I shook Sophie off, freeing myself. Sophie, I already have a girlfriend. She just sneered, ignoring my words. Mark, I'm back? Arguing with me now? Isn't it a bit late for that? I finally understood. No matter what I say, Sophie always has her own narrative ready. Right then, my phone buzzed in my pocket. Sophie had the sense then not to make another move. But when I pulled out my phone, the caller ID brightly showed wife, causing cracks to form in Sophie's expression. Clara had insisted on that. She had typed those words in herself. We weren't even married yet. I answered the call, speaking before Clara could say anything. Honey? Nice to hear you take the initiative today, she replied. Ignoring her teasing, I asked, When are you coming? Miss me? Even over the phone, I could imagine Clara's smirk. Such a cheeky pup. But this time I indulged her. Yeah, I miss you. Clara noticed something in my tone. Are you with someone? Being honest, I said, Yeah, come quick. Okay. The call ended, leaving Sophie nearly grinding her teeth down. Who is that? I held up my phone. The screensaver was a photo of me with Clara. I have to thank you for setting us up. Weren't you the one who said we were a good match? You were spot on. Sophie was flustered. Even when everyone else got there, she was totally out of it. I had never seen her so upset. We all gathered in a circle. Clara arrived and sat next to me, and I leaned against her. It was obvious to everyone. Turns out it's Clara, huh? I didn't see that coming. You two kept it pretty tight-lipped. Yeah, you snuck off together without giving us any gossip. Punishment, chug 3 drinks. You two are such a good-looking pair. Why not post anything on social media? The blessings and questions bombarded me and Clara. Before I could respond, someone noticed the bite mark on Clara's neck. No way, Mark, you're that wild? Everyone turned their attention to the mark on Clara's neck. The teasing was overwhelming, and I found myself hiding against Clara, thinking maybe I shouldn't have bit her after all. The bite had nearly faded, so why was it so obvious today? Clara didn't bother covering it up. She pulled me close, saying, All right, that's enough. He's going to get shy now. Everyone was in good spirits, except for Sophie, who was sulking in the corner. After the reunion, I had drank quite a bit. I could barely stand without leaning on Clara for support, but luckily I wasn't completely smashed. As people started leaving, Clara and I were about to go too. Stay, Sophie suddenly said. Only 4 of us remained in the room. Sophie, Leo, Clara, and me. Clara stood protectively in front of me, hugging me. There's no need for us to stay. Sophie wasn't backing down. He's drunk. Staying is for the best. I'm just looking out for him, but you seem in a hurry to leave. Are you afraid you can't beat me? Clara laughed off her remark. Mark is his own person first, and then he's my husband. He's not something you can just claim, she said. Sophie clenched her fists. Clara, anything I want, I get. Without another word, Clara picked me up. Look at your own situation before talking as if you have a chance. Somehow, Sophie found out where I work. One day after work, I saw her standing by my car from a distance, holding a bouquet. Glancing at her, I turned to leave without stopping. Mark, just give me a chance, she called out. I found it amusing. You must be kidding, right? That's not funny at all. Unfazed, Sophie tried handing the roses to me. I stepped back, and the flowers fell to the ground. Sophie, I don't like roses. They're too flashy. She calmly picked them up. I'll bring different flowers next time. What do you like? Unbelievable. It's not about what you bring. I don't like you, so nothing you give will matter. Showing her the ring on my finger, I said, I'm already taken. Don't you get it? Sophie scoffed. You're not married yet. What's wrong with a little competition? Competition? I replied flatly. You don't stand a chance here. Do you understand now? She threw the flowers down, reverting to her usual arrogant self. Mark, I've been pretty patient, but my tolerance has limits. Here's your last chance. Leave Clara and be with me. I felt like it was the funniest joke I'd ever heard. Sophie, you're too full of yourself. What makes you think I'd choose you over Clara? Maybe years ago I gave too much, making it seem cheap. I've wasted 5 years on this. Isn't that enough? For 5 years I tried showing how I felt. Did you ever give me a straight answer? That kind of unclear love isn't what I want, and neither are you. Don't think anyone is a replacement. Everyone is their own person. If you truly love someone, you wouldn't rely on others to fill that gap. Feeling a sense of relief, I asked, Do you get it now? You're not dumb, Sophie. If you don't like someone, forcing it won't make it happy. And that fruit is already rotten. She was quiet. The flower petals fell from the wrapping, dropping to the ground. Feelings that are past their expiration date can't be forced to bloom. I heard a car honk behind me and turned around. Clara was in the car. Our eyes met in the sunlight. Clara didn't need to do anything. Just being there was enough for her to win. I'm just an average worker with weekends off, but Clara is different. She's a CEO and never off duty. Sometimes when she can't make it back on weekends, I get too lazy to cook and just order takeout. When the doorbell rang, I thought my food had arrived, but instead, I found someone unfriendly. Leo removed his sunglasses and glared at me, his eyes bloodshot. Mark, what did you do to Sophie? After seeing you, she's been ignoring me. Was it something you said, you jerk? Before I even knew it, Leo punched me, leaving my face stinging with blood at the corner of my mouth. Asshole! Die! As he aimed another blow my way, I dodged and grabbed his wrist. Have I been too easy on you? Do you think I have no temper? Am I your dad, needing to baby you all the time, after seeing me? What magic do you think I have to change a princess? You should look within yourself first. Maybe put in some hard work before blaming gravity for your problems. You and Sophie suit each other perfectly in your madness. You're always stirring the pot for others. Maybe do the world a favor and stay indoors more often. I never knew I could be so tough. When my mind is racing, all I can think about are Clara's words. Fight back. At first, I wasn't so witty with my comebacks. Actually, I was pretty clumsy. When arguing, I'd lose the moment I opened my mouth. That feeling of getting all flustered but still being speechless made me look weak. I guess getting bullied by Clara so much toughened me up. She noticed my weak spot and made sure she never argued back. I'd just take the hits, holding it in better than any ninja ever could. Clara worried I'd suffer more, always pushing me to stand up for myself. Sometimes fighting back isn't the perfect solution, but it's the best way to stand your ground. In the beginning, Clara didn't mind taking the heat, letting me vent at her without feeling bad, sometimes even enjoying it. She'd say, "Darling, it's right to stand up for yourself. Never let yourself get tricked." My feelings for Clara didn't just appear overnight. I mean, falling in love after one crazy night? That's insane. I couldn't just suddenly fall for someone I can't even remember, like Sophie. Deciding to like her took me ages, and who knew she'd turn out to be a demon later on. Once upon a time, Sophie had taken care of my shy, cowardly self too, maybe unintentionally showing her warmth. She was the first to blatantly stand up for me, but it was unlike Clara, who wanted me to grow, to become strong enough to not need defending. Clara always said she couldn't be by my side all the time. I needed to learn to protect myself. Just like now, facing off against Leo alone. My words didn't get through to Leo. They only made him madder. "Come on, man. We're both guys. You think I can't tell what you're thinking? After all these years liking Sophie with nothing to show for it, I don't believe you've moved on just because she's been away for a year. I'm closing the door. Believe it or not, just stop bugging me. Don't try that macho competition thing with me. No one is competing with you. It's just you putting Sophie on some pedestal, acting like everyone is after her." "Mark!" Leo screamed as he lunged at me. We rolled and fought like there was no tomorrow. Punching, kicking, whatever it took. By the time the delivery guy showed up, both of our faces were bruised. At the precinct, Clara showed up with a grim look on her face. I hadn't even wiped the blood off my lips. My face was all banged up. My hair was a mess, and I barely managed to smooth it out. Compared to me, Leo fared worse. I had gone all out. His face was puffed up, one eye barely open. Clara sat next to me and settled things with the cops. "We're not settling this quietly. If it goes to court, I don't mind spending more time and energy." Leo was losing it, yelling, "Look at whose face is worse. Aren't I good for not asking for anything? Why the court?" Clara was calm, but icy cold. "Leo, weren't you the one who started it all? You came looking for trouble, and didn't you throw the first punch?" Clara was right, leaving Leo at a loss for words. Soon, Sophie arrived. She looked startled when she saw me. "Sophie, look! Mark did this to me." Leo tugged at her sleeve, almost in tears. Sophie stared him down, scolding him. "What were you thinking, causing trouble to this extent? Do you really need to end up in a police station to be embarrassed? If you're not ashamed, I sure am." Leo didn't expect Sophie to turn on him like that. "Sophie, you never treated me like this. You said you liked me. Why not stand by me?" Sophie's disdain was so apparent. "Stop the drama or handle it yourself." That shut Leo up. Sophie walked over to Clara and me. "How much? Let's settle it privately." Clara helped me up. "We've already told the police we're not settling. We'll see you in court." Sophie wouldn't back down. "Come on, it's not a big deal." "Maybe to you it isn't, but you're not the one who got hurt." Clara's quickness to clap back burst out. "That's what you call love? Anyone can talk. If you can't even protect your loved ones, what's the point?" Sophie had her own twisted logic. Real love shouldn't lead to making things big, embarrassing the guy. "No, Sophie, it's just you being scared, caught up in your own interests and image. Real hurt doesn't compare to your precious image." Clara was on fire. I had to hold her back. "Clara, my head's pounding. Let's just drop it." Without hesitation, Clara pulled me away. In the car, she asked softly, "Mark, were you feeling soft-hearted back there?" Seeing her so cautious made my heart ache. "No, I just thought since we're going through legal channels, there's no point in more arguing. It's just noisy." In the parking lot, after she parked the car, Clara went silent. "Mark, you're all I have left. Don't leave me." I was startled by her change in tone, her vulnerability hurting me deeply. How scared of me leaving must she be to keep baring her soul over and over? Every little bit of closeness, Clara would hold on tight, like I'd disappear the next second. I've reassured her countless times, but she still seems to never truly be at ease. After getting together with Clara, I found out that college wasn't the first time we'd crossed paths. Clara came from a pretty messed up home. One argument between her parents, and she found herself inexplicably locked out. At just 9 years old, how could a little girl know any survival skills? Back then, Clara was so down on her luck that all she could do was sit on the street and cry. Meanwhile, I was 2 years younger, and basking in the happiness of an almost perfect family. By chance, I saw her on the street. Her situation tugged at my heartstrings. I secretly stuffed all the pocket change I had into her hands. What I didn't realize was that my school ID, the one I couldn't find, was mixed in with it. That chance encounter wasn't really by chance. It was Clara's relentless effort that made it happen. Life isn't a romantic drama. There aren't that many chance encounters. It's often one person's quiet efforts that turn strangers into something more. I had no idea that while I was quietly crushing on Sophie, Clara was secretly in love with me. I held Clara's hand and placed it on my face. Clara, you can confirm it with me as many times as you want. I love you. The doctor came in, did a quick check, and then left. Now it was just Clara and me in the hospital room. Seeing her clueless expression, I couldn't help but tease her a bit. "Clara," I called out. She immediately sat down next to my bed. "Are you feeling unwell?" I shook my head. "No, I just wanted to call your name." She let out a sigh of relief and hugged me, helping me get more comfortable. "Clara, Clara, Clara," I playfully called her name over and over. She patiently responded every single time. "I love you." Those 3 words slipped out, freezing her in place. It was like she'd made a sudden, serious decision. Clara gently touched my face, sealing it with a devoted kiss. Lost in the moment, I noticed someone sneaking a peek from the doorway, but I chose to ignore it. When Clara finally stopped, breathless, I said, "Sophie was just here." "I know," Clara replied, pointing to a mirror. No wonder Clara was suddenly so possessive earlier. Clara gently caressed my cheek. "She doesn't deserve to like you." Recalling Sophie's look, I spoke assuredly. She probably realizes it too. In court, Sophie withdrew as Leo's defense lawyer. Leo was left to fend for himself and ended up with a record. Victory came that night. At home, Clara cornered me at the entrance table. With our foreheads touching, the atmosphere was charged. Clara's intense gaze was almost predatory. "I won't let anyone hurt you again." My response was drowned in a scorching kiss. At last, Clara brushed the sweat-soaked hair from my forehead and kissed it. A cool metal sensation pressed on my left ring finger. I heard her whisper in my ear, "I'll be responsible for you forever."